Hey, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm Wood. In this series, we're comparing two accounts that I started at the same time on the same day, and I'm playing the same way with one major difference. One account is free to play, the other has a monthly spending budget of $50. It's day 80. Let's check our progress. Hey, thanks for joining me today. As always, we have a green border around the free-to-play account and no border around the budget account, so when I go back and forth, you'll know which account I'm on. I just wanted to, I had a couple things that popped into my head, and it sort of, you know that moment when inspiration hits, and you just think, oh, I think I get it now. That happened to me in the last couple of days. I have decided to work my way up into Gold 4, Gold 5 arena. It's really funny. I got a comment the other day on one of my videos, and it was a constructive criticism comment, and I appreciate those. I think they're valuable. If they're ridiculous, you can just easily dismiss them. But sometimes people with their constructive criticism are telling you the truth, and you need to take a look. And so I took a look at myself, and I said, am I actually doing this the right way? And the comment was very simple. It was just work your way up to Gold 4, Gold 5. I was complaining in the video about being stuck in Silver 4, and I was on the budget account. On the free-to-play, I've been in Gold 1, and I've been comfortably just staying in Gold 1 the whole time. And I just said, I don't know why I'm not able to get up into Gold 1 and stay there on the budget account. When you're in Gold 1 or Silver 4, up in all the silvers, there are a lot of tough teams, and it's kind of hard to find wins sometimes. But he just said, work your way up into Silver. And I was like, you know what? Easy for you to say. And then I thought, I have never once, in the entire time I've been playing Raid, I have never once used this button. Not once. I've never used it. I just thought that's a waste of gems. I'm just gonna wait my 15 minutes. But you never get back. You don't go. Even when you're sitting there playing the game, you're running dungeons, you're doing campaign, you're enhancing artifacts. There's so many things that we have to do in the game, and it's hard to just sit and focus on arena. But I thought, it might be a really good use of gems. You work your way up. There's just as many one-man defenses up in Gold 5 as there, and maybe more than there are in Silver 4 and Gold 1. And it was like a whole new window opened up. And so I appreciate whoever made that comment. And I'm sorry I don't have your name in front of me right now, and I didn't even think to look before I started the recording. But So thank you for the suggestion. I'm just going to hit the refresh button when I have tokens, and I'm just going to use all my tokens. I'm going to work my way up into Gold 4. You can see I've worked my way up to almost Gold 2 here. But that led me to something else, because we were talking about Ninja the other day. And you can see a Ninja right here in this defense. You can see, I'm going to go over to the budget account now. And I'm doing the same thing over there in the budget account. I don't know. It's funny. A lot of times, and I have this thing. It's just part of who I am. And I sometimes envy people that do the out of the box thinking a lot better and just think, well, this is what I've always done, but do I have to do it that way? And I'm glad I got a comment about it, because man, it's like I missed it. It's just one of those things that's so obvious sitting there, and it's like I missed it. Here's another Ninja over here on the budget account. These are just two random pages in Gold 1 and another Ninja. So Ninja's 3 years old, and they decided just to give him away. They decided we're just going to give him away. And for some reason I wasn't really questioning. So in the same video, I believe, I was in the same video that I was complaining about not being able to work my way up. I was kind of complaining, and I was using this team as an example. See, I was in Silver 4, and I was using this team as an example. Look at this crazy team. Okay, there's there's a Skull Crown, a Lazarius. Lazarius that's a big one, a mythical, and then you've got a Ninja, which is 3 years old, and then you've got a Rhonda. And this account level is 43, and I was sitting there going, what is this? What's going on? And somebody in the comments said, well, it's a bot account, which is obviously true, and I guess I was making kind of a bad joke, but it's obviously true that it's a bot account. Somebody, there's probably thousands of accounts out there that are, that have all of the daily logins. They just go in and do the daily logins, and they get a bunch of the free champions that are given to us over time. And a lot of them are really good. I'm sure there's probably a Sun Wukong on this account and some other things. And so then they sell them. And I'm sure one of the big selling points is, hey, this account has Ninja. You can't get him anymore any other way. Well, then guess what Plarium does? They just give everybody a Ninja. They tanked the value of all of those accounts that are selling, based on the fact that they have Ninja. The value just went. I'm sure the value of all of those accounts that they're trying to sell has plummeted. And it looks to me like that's a big selling point, because I'm seeing Ninja, which Ninja's not really an arena champion. I mean, he does have an AoE freeze on his A3, and that can be kind of useful for some control in arena if you're pretty early game, you don't have a lot of other options. But Ninja's not somebody that should be in a lot of arena defenses, and yet down in Silver 4 and Gold 1 and Gold 2, I'm seeing Ninja for some reason. And I just thought about it, and I was like, yeah, they did. I think that's why they're giving it to everybody again. And it's just going to tank the value of all of those accounts that people are trying to sell. It's sort of a black market thing. It's against terms of service. They're not, you're not supposed to do that. And I think that's their way of combating it, is just by making, by tanking the value of all of those accounts. And so the more it happens, I think the more the regular players, people that are just playing like I am, I think the more it happens, I think regular players like, most of us are going to benefit from it, because whenever value for something like that goes up, I think this new strategy that Plarium has of just, well, we'll just give everybody. And that was another thing that I was wondering about, with Sun Wukong. Why do they keep giving Sun Wukong away in a promo code, for new players? And I think that might be part of it too. Is I think a lot of people, started 100, 200, I don't know how many accounts. If you get a bot to do it for you or whatever, I know there's a lot of crazy things you can do with bot accounts and stuff like that, and maybe getting a ton of accounts going with daily login rewards, and then seeing how lucky you get with shard pulls, with your early shard pulls. They might have some juicy accounts that somebody might be tempted to buy, instead of, just trying to grind it out on their own and trying to build their own account. And I don't have any, there's no judgment here about anything like that. I'm not saying that. I just know that it's against terms of service, and I don't know what they do about it. I've never seen somebody get banned because they bought an account, but maybe they do. I don't know. All I know is that I'm seeing a lot of Ninjas in arena defenses down in Gold 1, Gold 2. So, it's pretty clear that there's a lot of accounts out there that have been purchased. So I'm going to make that my focus the next couple of days. I just thought it was just sort of a realization that I had, that maybe that's part of the reason that there's a whole bunch of accounts out there for sale that have Ninja, and that's the selling point. And so in order to tank the value of some of those accounts and kind of discourage that kind of behavior, maybe that's why Plarium is giving Ninja away. Because my question was, why don't they just add him to the summoning pool? Why are they giving him to everybody again? They could have just added him back into the summoning pool, and so that people had a chance to pull him from shards again, and put him on a 10 times, or maybe put him on a guaranteed. They could have made some money that way. But I think that's my theory now. I don't know if it's right or not. If you have another perspective on it, please put it down in the comments. I like ideas, so, and again, whoever it was, and I'm sorry I don't remember your handle on YouTube, but whoever it was that suggested that, hey, just work your way up into gold 4, gold 5. It kind of, when it hit me, I was like, oh, it was just so obvious, and yet why didn't I think of that? So I'm using some gems. I think it's a good investment of gems to work my way up, because the medals that you get from one-man defenses that are up in gold 4 worth way more than the medals you're getting from gold 1 and gold 2, or from silver 4 and gold 1, for that matter. So I'm just going to keep taking the fights on each page that I can, and just do, sort of focused every day, and make sure that I use all of my tokens. I probably won't use the 100 gems to buy more tokens, to be able to work my way up, but I'll work my way up a lot faster this way, just refreshing the page, making sure that I use all the tokens. And so we'll see how long that takes for me to work my way up. But yeah, I've just decided I'm going to just do it now. I think it makes total sense. And I'm sorry to all of you who have been screaming at your devices watching, saying, why don't you just work your way up? Back over here on the free to play, I've almost worked my way up into gold 2 already, and I only just started like an hour ago of just, consistently refreshing the page. And so we do have a Fire Knight Turn Attack tournament going on that just opened this morning at the time I'm recording this, and there are the serpent coins in that one. The top reward is a 6-star epic chaos ore, so I'm probably not that concerned about going for that, but we'll see. I've got plenty of energy on the budget account that I'll be able to do that with. I was able to get all of the rewards on this free-to-play account in that last tournament with the Ice Golem tournament, and doing okay on the champ training. We need to finish the champ training. And the Fire Knight Turn Attack just feeds into the Serpent Path. What is it? The Path of the Serpent event that's going on too. So we're just going to keep working on that. But yeah, I have almost enough points to get up into the gold 2 here now. So we'll just see. And on this, I did wait long enough to get a free refresh of the page. It doesn't cost you any more each time you do it. This is how naive I was. I thought that the refreshes went up. I thought the amount of gems it took to do a refresh on these pages. This is to let you know that I really didn't know. I've never used that button. I've never spent gems to refresh the page, because I always, like I said, I always thought it was a waste of gems. I didn't know it doesn't go up. It just stays at 5. So you can do that 5 every time. And I've seen guys do Platinum Arena before and everything. I just didn't pay attention. I didn't notice that it really is only 5 gems every time you refresh that page. So I think it's a good use of gems, especially when you're trying to climb up to a certain place. And then when you get there, you don't need to do that anymore, unless you need to get more fights in to be able to, maintain your position. I'll take this one on, see how it works out. I do like nukers that have an arena speed lead. Sun Wukong is really good. There are a few nukers that have an arena speed lead, and I really like that. It gives you a lot of options, especially in live arena. I always really like having a speed lead, so that you don't have to depend. Oh, that Fronley buff steal is so clutch sometimes. He can take out somebody who has block damage or unkillable on them, like he just did with that Skull Crown, and steal all their buffs. It's really a cool skill. I mean, yeah, it's nice having a mythical. That's a big news flash for everybody. Mythicals are nice. They're good. This is why you come to me for the really hard-hitting analysis, the really deep really deep, insightful analysis there, that the mythicals are good. So yeah, sorry about that. Captain Obvious explains his view of life. Yeah, so I'm going to work my way up into as high as I can go with the tokens that I have right now. I'm just going to work my way up. Every step up you go, the medals are worth more, and that's how you get your Great Haul done. And I missed it, and I do think it's a good use of gems, and so I am going to work my way up as fast as I can. I'll get it done. That'll help both accounts get our Great Haul bonuses done a lot faster, so that we can get our Arbiter missions done. And so, so I'm feeling a little bit sheepish, but I wanted to share it with everybody in case that's something, if you're like me, you're kind of stuck in that mindset of, oh, I don't want to spend unnecessary gems. But sometimes spending the gems, and I spend the gems for energy. This is really no different than that. You're spending a resource in the game to get something back that you want, that's going to accelerate your progress. I do look at spending gems for energy that way, but I've never looked at spending gems in Classic Arena that way. And it's really, being a late game player, my Great Hall bonuses have been maxed on my main account for 2 years. And so I've really never, I haven't thought about, the need to do these missions for a long time. And it's a struggle, but I'm not going to do one right now. But yeah, see this upgrade, I do have enough to do that 5. So yeah, I do have enough to do that. That is a challenge. I'm gonna take a look and see real quick where I am on challenges on the budget account. Oh, that one. Okay, so I'll take you over here. Look, we've still got to do this one. 75% crit rate and 150% crit damage. We need to do that. That's one we have to do. We're done with champion ones, done with dungeons, and that's the only one we have left on that too. Let's look and see where I'm at. Can we do this today? No. So I'm gonna have to get a lot more arena wins. So yeah, see, that's another good example of where the budget or where the free-to-play account is a little ahead of the budget account, just a little. But I'll probably try and take care of those today. It's nice to have those things. I'm also kind of a box checker, and I like to have those boxes checked. So sometimes those two mentalities of being a box checker but thinking inside the box all the time, they're sort of at counter purposes. So I need to be a little more flexible in my thinking. I think we can, hopefully you can relate. We can all make improvements in the way we think about things. Again, this is another one. Okay, so here's another thing that I think is worthwhile. I had started doing this. I think that the awards that are inside this bazaar, not awards, but the things that you can get out of this bazaar for these gold bars that we collect for Tag Team Arena. There is I think it's a 30-day cooldown on both the Sacred Shard and on the Legendary Skill Tome when you get up here into gold. And I think it's really worth trying to work your way up into gold. It's not easy to do by any means. It's not easy to get up into gold, and it takes quite a bit of time. And but it is necessary as part of the Arbiter missions. Also, you have to work your way up, I think, just into gold 1, if I remember correctly. But it is worthwhile to get up into gold 1 so that you can start getting these. But you have to do a lot of these tag team fights. The good thing is most people that are active, they put in a one-man defense on all 3 of their defenses. Some people troll you and they put in a Mordu Macabre, or something, or they'll put in a champion that has stone skin or something like that, and it takes longer, and it's kind of annoying. You have to pay attention, to what the defenses are. Usually I just see a one-man defense and I just run my teams, but sometimes they'll put something in that's going to mess you up. So you have to kind of pay attention. But yeah, usually most active players will put in a one-man defense that's easy to beat, keep themselves down lower where all the other one-man defenses are, so that they can just farm it. And you do that the first part of the week. Monday through Thursday has kind of been the traditional thing, and then Friday you put in your tough defenses so you can at least maintain your position. Or if you're trying to move up, you can try and move up that way too. But the bars, it takes a lot of fights. But one of the things that I do like to do sometimes is spend the 15 gems to get the refill. It goes 15 and then it goes 40. So the first refill is only 15 gems, and then the next refill is 40 gems. And I usually do both of those every day if I can, until the weekend. And then the weekend I don't. I just use the ones that I have available on the weekend. But I think it's a good, and that's on my main account. On these 2 accounts, I haven't really been doing that as much. But like I said, or like you just saw, I did buy the 15, refill for this one. And that's because I have time, the rest of the day. And it looked like I had a page where I can get some of those fights out of the way pretty quickly. So I do think it makes sense to farm as many of those gold bars as you can. It's just, it's hard to get very many of them when you're down here in bronze 3 where I am. Or, you work your way up. But when you're in gold, and if you can work your way up into gold, then you can farm enough of those gold bars that at least you can get one more legendary book and one more sacred shard per month. It seems like a lot of work for not a lot of reward, but I do it because those sacred shards and those legendary books they're pretty scarce in the game, and it's kind of one of the only ways that you can control whether or not you can farm them. But I'm not saying that it's easy. It takes a lot of time to get up there, and you have to really work at it to get in there. And if you don't have a ton of time to play the game, it's not one of those things that it's just not one of those things that you're gonna do, because it ranks kind of down further on the priority list usually. But I have been doing that on my main account for quite a while, and I do like that strategy. And then to get some confirmation made me feel better about myself. I saw Airbad one time. To me he's one of the best. He and Boozer to me are the two best free-to-play players. They're very smart guys, way smarter than I am, and really, really good at the game. They really understand things. They have great memories. But Airbad is just phenomenal with his use of resources and understanding when to use resources and when to hold them back. And he's got a lot of self-control, something I really respect but can't emulate for some reason. But yeah, Airbad is really good. But he does that too. He said he usually does maybe 2 refills a day on that tag arena, on those tag arena fights. And he's a very good arena player too. He's really good. So that's something that I've been trying to take advantage of pretty much since I started playing. But like I said, it takes quite a bit of time to work your way up to where you're really benefiting from those refills. Because if you're not in gold, it's hard to justify because you're not getting a lot of the gold bars out of it. So I think you have to evaluate whether or not you have time and the gems to be able to do it every day. But the one sacred and the one legendary, if you can do it, I think it's valuable. But we do not have that luxury right now. I even sometimes, on my main account, I sometimes buy that 300 energy once a week. Also, that's a 1 week cooldown on that. But yeah, I sometimes get that also. But that's after you get your Drexstar taken care of. Once you have Drexstar, then you can work on all those other things. And Drexstar actually helps you, especially places like Doom Tower, Ice Golem, places like that. Once you have Drexstar, those become a lot easier. Drexstar, I even found Drexstar when Hydra was early on, when Hydra was new. Drexstar was one of my main damage dealers for that, because HP burn is so powerful. And if the heads have Poison Cloud on them, they hit Drexstar and they risk getting that HP burn, and that goes right through Poison Cloud too. So he's one of those options you can use for HP burn to go through Poison Cloud if you're having trouble with that, if you don't have block buffs. So that's all I had today. Yeah, I think we're all benefiting from in a weird way, we're all benefiting from people who start a bunch of accounts to collect all the 7-day logins, and they sell accounts because they have Ninja. I think we're all benefiting from that, because I think that's the reason why they just decided to give everybody a Ninja on a 5-day login, which is really great. I think it's a great decision. And if that's not the reason, and if they're just trying to improve player morale, great, good for them. That's just a theory that I had, that maybe that was part of the calculus involved in why do we give players things at certain times, and if it was just to improve player morale, great, but I have a feeling maybe that was part of it. So let me know what you think in the comments, whether you agree with my theory or not. I'm going to keep working my way up in Arena. I have a lot of champ training to do to finish that champ training tournament, and then we're going to put some more energy in, because the 3 times regen on Fire Knight, I think it's worth putting a lot of energy into Fire Knight to be able to farm some more regen gear. Early game, like we are on both of these accounts, regen gear becomes very, very powerful, especially for your support champions that don't do damage on all their turns. You want them to be healing on every turn in some of these longer fights. So yeah, we're going to try and get as much regen gear as we can get. Not just to improve the sets that we already have on champions, but to be able to create new sets for different champions we're building. So that's all I had. Thank you for your kind attention and all other kinds of attention. I've been Wood, and I appreciate you.